Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Welcome to Breeders' Cup Focus. In this edition, we'll take a look at the leading contenders for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. These horses are ranked in morning line order, very preliminary morning line order. The morning line compiled by DRF's Brad Free. Eddie Haskell, the 4-1 morning line favorite. Pee Wee Reese not yet confirmed to start. They still got to supplement him. He's 9-2. Totally Boss, winner of the Run Happy Turf Sprint to Kentucky Downs, is 5-1. Pure Sensation, the speedster, is at 6. You got Storey Liberal in here, Mike. Two-time Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint winner, 15-1. We'll talk about him in a little bit, but let's talk about Eddie Haskell and Pee Wee Reese. Coming out of the Eddie D at Santa Anita was kind of a tale of two trips as we turn into the stretch.
Yeah, it really was. Pee Wee Reese got a really good one along the inside, coming on through right now to take over. Eddie Haskell, for whatever reason, they decided to rate him this time. They took him back after he broke fine. He's on the outside right now, rallying, finishing very gamely for second. I suppose, Dan, if you're just looking at it, as a prep for the Breeders' Cup, perfectly fine for Eddie Haskell.
I agree 100%. I think a lot of folks are going to look at it the same way. Thought Pee Wee Reese had the right trip. Eddie Haskell could have gotten forward. He broke from the inside. We know he has plenty of speed. They did rate him. He took him to the outside. Pee Wee Reese scampered up the rail, and that ground loss differential might have made all the difference. Totally Boss got a great trip when winning the Run Happy Turf Sprint. We're going to watch that race at Kentucky Downs. He got him right up close to 65-1 Smart Remark, and speed was holding at Kentucky Downs. Smart Remark is still punching on all the way down to the wire. Totally Boss, let's take nothing away from him because his prior race at Ellis Park was really good.
Yeah, he's been in great form this year. He's 4 for 5 so far this year, the only loss by a nose. So he's just in raging form right now, and this is a career best performance for him. There's just no way to knock this horse on the way to the Breeders' Cup.
If the Breeders' Cup was held at Parks, Pure Sensation might very well be the horse to beat. He's unstoppable there. He won the Monster, the Turf Monster, I believe maybe for the third time in a row. He went right to the lead. These horses are horses he's supposed to beat, and he just really is just too much for them. He gets to drifting out as he is wont to do in the lane, but he loves Parks. He's coming into this race in good form, and listen, the shorter distance is going to help him.
Yeah, he likes the shorter distances. He's got a lot of speed on his best day. He's just a really good horse. He's been around forever, Dan. He's now 8 years old, but he's won 14 times. He still goes in good form. 3 straight triple-digit buyers. What's not to like about this horse?
Doug O'Neill's got a good 3-year-old in Stubbins. Looks like he's really improving right now, coming off of a win last time out in the Woodford at Keeneland. Let's watch this race. He's in the green silk. He'll bull his way out. He's going to have to show a little bit of guts here. Shove this horse right out of the way, and then he's going to come with a good run to beat Leinster and Imprimis. I think Imprimis, though, is kind of stuck in behind horses, Mike. I didn't love the trip he got at Kentucky Downs either. He was one of the better turf sprinters earlier this year. He wasn't embarrassed when they shipped him to Europe. Do you think he's a little bit dirtied up coming into the Breeders' Cup?
I think he is, and I think he did have an excuse in that race we just watched there. I also feel like he hasn't been quite as sharp in his last 2 races. I think that's part of the reason why he's gotten himself into trouble. So we'll just see if he can show up Breeders' Cup Day and run his best race, because his best race makes him a handful. That was also, by the way, a nice step forward for Stubbins, though, the 3-year-old. Yeah, the trip worked out ultimately for him, but he made it work out by muscling his way out of that spot, and he finished up very well in that.
Let's take a look at this list one more time. We've got Leinster in here, who I believe was the winner of the Troy Stakes. A horse that, again, ran at Kentucky Downs, may not have had the right race flow, the bias might have worked against him. Did you find any kind of excuse for him last time out in the Woodford? Because he really looked good earlier this year for Rusty Arnold.
Yeah, I didn't see an excuse. I thought he ran fine. It's not like, he was nowhere in the race. He just got beat on the line, but I didn't see a big excuse for him. He certainly has the form to be a contender in this race, as does Final Frontier for Tom Albertrani. The horse has gotten very good in New York.
Let's talk a little bit about Final Frontier. He won that Belmont Turf Championship last time out. Got a nice trip up close to the pace.
He did. I didn't think it was the strongest field in the world, Dan, but he's just been really good since they decided to cut him back to sprint on the grass, and he's got really good tactical speed.
And then the big question mark is Storey Liberal. We all remember what he did last year. He just ran a gigantic Buyer's speed figure in one of the more exciting Breeders' Cup races when he in World of Trouble just threw it down for the last quarter of a mile. He just doesn't seem like the same horse this year, but you can never count him out.
No, you can't, but he really hasn't looked like that horse since that Breeders' Cup. So we'll see if he can turn it around. World of Trouble's not going to make the race at all. And that Stormy Liberal that we saw last year, he's probably not making the race either.
Eddie Haskell, 4-1 favorite on Bradfree's preliminary morning line. Coming off a troubled effort in the Eddie D and might have served as a very useful prep.